Hi guys, just taking Timmy and Dave out, and the other dogs, the other four, are in the stables. And my wife's got a cleaner. I didn't know that the cleaner was going to come, and so I'm just getting these two dogs out of the way. But I'm worried if they smash through the stables and that door is open. My wife left the bloody gate open. So you never know. So I'm gonna close this gate, the front gate. I'm really security conscious. She's not. Just tap it in. Okay. So can't really see. Luckily I looked. Big van coming. Driving out onto these lanes is luckily it wasn't going fast. Oh fucking hell! I have to go back again. Get back! Back! I can't see anything. Be quiet. It's only the postman. Be quiet. Be quiet. Shh. It's only the innocent postman. I have to reverse because there's another car coming. Right, no more cars hopefully. You see, they're demons. I have to tame them, but I can't tame them unless I change location. Why is that? It's a long story. I've bloody explained so many times. I don't want to explain anymore. Anyway, do you often talk to yourself? Yeah, when I'm making these videos, I talk to myself. Try and make you guys laugh. Today's a really nice sunny day. Yesterday it was grey, so black. It was so dark yesterday, and it was wet. It was drizzling, drizzly all day, cold, and I moved a few boxes because in our shed we've got the shredding machine, so I can work on the other channel shredding toys and stuff. You know, that makes it kind of satisfying, you know, things that crunch and whatever. So, but in order to do that, I have to get rid of all the boxes that my wife put in there to make the house look tidy, of course. So bunged everything in there. Yesterday I lifted 2 carfuls, like the Volvo estate. Not this one, this is tiny. 2 carfuls of not junk, but her stuff and the girl stuff. Like, why is it that boys, like boys and men, we have hardly any stuff, whereas like girls and women have loads of stuff, makeup stuff, and well, of course shampoo, dresses, bloody hell. So 2 carfuls of stuff. I drove there. No, my wife drove, because I was scared in those boxes there was some big black hairy spider. So I asked her many times, and then finally she agreed. Thanks. I don't know why I'm saying thanks for. She's in the middle of the road. She doesn't even move at all to the left, and I'm there hugging the kind of pavement. Needless to say, it was a woman driver, right? A woman in her 30s, let's say. I'm not taking the piss out of women drivers at all. If they drive safely, Even if they're slow, I don't care. That wasn't really safe though. You know, like you have to physically move out the way and go onto the muddy part, so that will, you could actually lose control, because as two wheels are on the concrete or whatever, the tarmac, the other two wheels are on wet mud, so you have to like wiggle about a little bit to you know, if you lose control, you do lose control slightly, depending why didn't you go slower? Oh yeah, I was going slow. Anyway, shut up. Be quiet. Or in Chinese they say, 闭嘴. Or in Italian, stai zitto. My uncle in Sicily, great guy. He always used to show his biceps. And me and my cousin used to come from England, and then I remember driving in his car. We used to say, come on uncle, overtake that car, overtake, and he would oblige, you know. He's a lorry driver, but he would say, he would let one off, and then turn around and say, stai zitto, be quiet. Took it to his ass. What's that got to do with anything? Because I said stai zitto, and it just reminded me, be quiet. So he would have conversations with his ass if his ass got naughty. It's not my fault. You fed me onions and broccoli, cabbage, whatever. Yeah, so it's a nice sunny day today, really nice. And every time they see a dog, look at them, they have to bark. They want to get at that dog, because they think it's some kind of alien. They think, what the hell is that thing? Because all they know about dogs is their own family. They've seen human beings because they've seen children grow up, our kids, they know us, you know. Having said that, when they see the you know, postman or whatever, look, here's another dog, right? Watch. Oh. Be quiet. Okay. So yesterday was like really, really gloomy, but today is really, really sunny. Such a, be quiet, Timmy. Such a difference, you know, such a contrast, black and white, or grey and like sunny today. So today is my dad's anniversary when he passed away. So I'm going to go to the cemetery now. Going to see my dad and just talk to him in Sicilian. It's the only chance I get to talk in Sicilian. I wonder how I could use that. This road's closed, I'm going to have to go another way. You know, because I spoke to Sicilian to my parents and relatives in Sicily and here in England. Now, through lack of use, I just remember the basics. So, there are two people here. See, they're not going to get angry with people. Is there a police? It's coming from behind. You have to get out of the way. hardly see 4 police cars. There's Range Rover ones as well. Yeah, so going to see Dad, speak to him in Sicilian, and just sit down there in the wet. It's probably going to be wet, the grass. It's quite beautiful where he is. He's got really tall trees, and I haven't had. He still doesn't have the tombstone. Now I'm waiting we're waiting to sell the house. As soon as I sell the house, I mean, people have offered to do the tombstone for me or give me the money, and I've declined because that's such a personal thing that his own son, well, I feel that I have to do it with my money, or the sale of the house. I don't want anyone doing it for me. You know, I have to pay for it. I have to do it because it's as a son, it's my responsibility to do it. I don't think he would like it if somebody else paid for it, and I wouldn't like it. So be quiet. Shh. How many times do I have to tell you be quiet? Scaring those 2 little doggies. What happens if there's a big doggy? One of those mastiffs or those XL bullies? You're going to shut up, aren't you? And they won't though. They'll bark at anything, horse, anything. So, close the windows. So they've got enough breathing space, but not enough to stick their noses out. Yeah, so every time I go and see my dad, I feel bloody sad. Doesn't everyone feel sad? I don't know what to say. What do I say to my dad? How are you doing? Wherever you are. Dad, sorry I didn't get the tombstone yet, but I will get it, I promised you. I've talked to him about how things are going in my life, with divorce, with the selling of the house, with the kids. The kids are alright, you know. The bloody dogs have still got them. And maybe I'll ask him to help me if he can, him and Mum, to guide me, to give me some good luck with my health and my finances, you know, and coming off the medication as well. So yeah. So quiet. I feel sad that there's lots of tombstones, and my dad is one that doesn't have a tombstone. There are a few that don't have tombstones. Not that many. It's rare. So I don't feel good about that, but in 3 years he still doesn't have a tombstone. So that's why I can't wait to sell this house so I can have some money. I don't know how much it will cost really, a few thousand maybe, 1,000, 2,000 or whatever, I don't know. It might as well be $1 million if you don't have it. I owe about 10 grand, 5 to 10 grand, I don't know how much, to my friend. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do when I sell the house. Pay off my debts, and then when my debts are cleared, then get my dad's tombstone with a nice picture of him, a picture that he would have liked, that he would like. I don't see my dad as like gone. I see that he's still here in spirit or whatever, in another dimension. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I've prayed and I've said to God, you know, let me see my parents, you know, even if they're ghosts or spirits, I won't be afraid. You know, I asked for it. But even before, when my parents passed away, I asked, oh, let me see ghosts, let me see spirits. They never come. Even ghosts and spirits are afraid of me or pissed off with me. Yeah, why is it some people can see them, but I can't? Maybe it's that the medication I've taken for 30 years calcified my pineal gland or something. I remember a friend of mine saying, but this black guy, it was, I was in his house in London, and he was saying, at the end of the bed, just where you're sitting now, there were two people there. I said, what, ghosts? He said, yeah. I said, really? Did you talk to them? He said, no, they just got up and walked away. I said, why didn't you talk to them? He said, they didn't have a chance, they just went. So I said, why is it I've never seen these things? Another time, my friend Razor, but I can't believe this. His brother reckons that he saw a man, right, walking along the wall of Kensal Green Cemetery. Kensal Green is a huge cemetery in London. It's got a huge wall, and on the road, on that it's called Harrow Road. Like, he was on the night bus, and he said, he probably was pissed. He said that he saw a man walking without a head, and his head was underneath his armpit, and it was old clothes, you know, like hundreds of years ago or whatever. It's either true or some bloody joke, you know, he was hallucinating or something. Yeah, so anyway, go and spend some time with Dad. And yeah, I don't know what this video is about. If you have those ones, loved ones who have passed away, you know, how do you spend the anniversary, you know, of your loved ones that have gone from this world? How do you I know that when it comes, a few days before, I've been ill, and then yesterday I was listening to music, some videos of my dad when he was ill. He took the COVID booster, and then a few days later he got COVID. He didn't get COVID. He got and he had a massive surge of neuroinflammation, because that's what happens. It can happen after you take the jab. There was many people who took the jab that I spoke to over their 50s who, when they took the jab, they had massive headaches. And like COVID and the jab, they both can do this. So yeah, I got something on the phone today saying, like, a new study suggests, yeah, because they can't prove anything. No study can prove anything, but kind of moves you towards a certain direction of thinking. So basically, one study showed that, the latest study showed that people who got the COVID infection or influenza within, I think within a few months, were 4 times more likely to get a heart attack or stroke, because it increases inflammation. The mechanism is probably that it increases inflammation, that's what they said, and reduces your immune system or something. But, and so that was the summary. And so it said, like, the take-home message was, in order to avoid it, take your flu vaccination and your COVID vaccination. You can take it up your fucking ass, because the COVID vaccination itself can cause inflammation. They didn't say that. They avoided saying that. How many people who took the COVID vaccination had massive headaches? That's called neuroinflammation. When my dad took the COVID booster, he had dementia, and it sent him over the edge. He had terrible fever, and they said, "Oh, he's got COVID." I couldn't go and see him, nothing. When I saw him again, he was like a vegetable, because basically it made his dementia progress to a end stage. How'd you know that? You don't know that. I don't fucking know that. But studies when this fucking COVID was around, initially, they showed that the elderly, if they had COVID or if they had the vaccine, which basically increases inflammation in the brain, people who were elderly had, 80% chance of getting dementia or showing signs of dementia within the next year. And so the question is, how about if they didn't get the jab? Because you're elderly, you still have a certain percentage. The percentage was about 30% in this group of people. I don't know, maybe in care home, or maybe elderly in general. If they didn't have the jab or didn't have the COVID infection, 30% risk of being diagnosed with dementia. If they had the COVID jab or COVID infection, 83%. So that tells me that it does something to the brain, and I think it's a neuroinflammation. It fries the brain, basically. And it's true, if you have the flu, if you have herpes attacks, the more herpes attacks you have, the more risk of dementia, because flus actually fry your brain. Yeah, see, that's a real scientific term, but they do fry your brain. If you have lots of flus, if you have lots of herpes attacks, you have, when your body mounts this reaction, this flu, it will have that carpet bombing effect in your brain, and then the risk of dementia is higher. If you've never heard of it, look it up. Just look up herpes attacks. The more herpes attacks you have, the higher the risk of dementia, because of all that carpet bombing that goes on in the brain. So, so their answer to increased risk of stroke is because, the mechanism that they said in this report, in this report about the study, is that what is it? COVID or flu infections increase inflammation and increase the likelihood of blood clotting and strokes. Doesn't the COVID vaccine do the same? Increases the chance of clotting and increases inflammation, neuroinflammation, at least in the initial stages. In Italian, they say "vaffanculo." Fuck off. I'll take my chances with the flu. My dad, he never even took a bloody flu jab until he had to go into that care home, and I had no control anymore. I tried to bring him healthy food. No, it's not allowed. I tried to bring him supplements like vitamin C, multivitamin. No, because the doctor... I even tried to take him out to the chip shop. Oh no, but health and safety. Because he was in a wheelchair. He needed a special wheelchair. Bastards. All of them. They gave him the cheapest food. I used to go there to the care home. White bread, probably that basic bread that they got, they get in bulk, don't they? The cheapest one. Basic, cheapest beans, basic, cheapest butter or margarine, tap water for tea, dairy or milk and white sugar, and then some custard creams or the cheapest food that you can think of, the worst, the most pro-inflammatory food and carcinogenic food known to man. Do you want a coffee, Mr. Fury? There's some milk and sugar. Cakes. It's amazing that these people don't know anything about health. Oh, why do you? I know that an apple or banana might be healthier than a fucking cake. And they didn't give him things like apples. They're difficult to digest. They cut it fucking small into tiny pieces. No, they wouldn't do that. I remember once I went... Oh, sorry, I'm gearing up now. I have to calm down. Once to see him. It was a few weeks that I couldn't see him because between the bloody lockdowns. And they asked me to buy a shaver. I bought a shaver for him. It was about a few months. When I went there, it was like a capellone, you say in Italian, like a hippie with all hair coming out here. And I had to shave it for him. His son has to come back and shave it for him. Thinking, what am I paying £1,100 a week for? What? Anyway, that's the past. That's the past. You can't unscramble an egg. I'm gonna go and see my dad now and have a chat with him. So I don't know how you guys deal with this. The good thing is it's a sunny day, so I won't feel so down. I'll get some kind of UV light into my retina and produce some kind of serotonin. Alright, I'll speak to you guys later. Bye.